Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you for a moment about something that changed my life, something I had to learn the hard way. Focus on yourself and stay silent. Now, I know that sounds simple, but simple don't mean easy. See, most people talk too much about what they're about to do, who they're going to become, and where they're headed, and then they wonder why nothing ever happens. It's because your mouth can slow down your miracle. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real about this first idea. Your growth doesn't need an announcement. Most people think progress has to be loud. They think if nobody knows what you're doing, it don't count. That's a lie. Some of the greatest transformations happen quietly, when nobody's watching, when nobody's clapping, when nobody's even aware that you're changing. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. See, the moment you announce what you're about to do, you invite opinions, you invite doubt, you invite distractions. Everybody suddenly becomes a consultant on your life. Folks who never built nothing start telling you how to build. Folks who never finished anything start warning you about quitting. And before you know it, you're spending more time explaining yourself than actually working on yourself. When you move in silence, you give yourself room to grow without pressure. No expectations, no timelines created by other people. No need to prove anything. You're free to fail, adjust, learn, and get better without feeling embarrassed. Because real growth is messy, it's uncomfortable. It don't always look good while it's happening. And if too many people are watching, you'll be tempted to perform instead of improve. Let me break it down for you. Seeds don't make noise underground. You don't hear roots forming. You don't hear dirt moving. But something powerful is happening where nobody can see it. And if you dig up a seed every day just to check on it, you'll kill it. That's what happens when you talk too much about your plans. You keep digging them up for validation, and they never get the chance to grow. Some people announce their goals because they want motivation from outside. They want likes, encouragement, approval. But external motivation fades. Applause dies down. And when it does, so does your drive. When you keep it quiet, your motivation has to come from within, from discipline, from hunger, from knowing why you started in the first place. Another thing silence does is it protects you from unnecessary negativity. Not everybody wants to see you elevate. Some people are comfortable with the version of you they can control. The moment you start talking about change, you threaten their comfort, and they'll try to pull you back, not because they hate you, but because your growth reminds them of what they're not doing. And here's the part most people don't like to hear. Sometimes talking too much makes you feel like you already accomplished something. You start celebrating before the work is done. You get emotional rewards for unfinished business, and that satisfaction can slow you down. Silence keeps you hungry. It keeps you focused on results, not recognition. When you finally show up different, stronger, wiser, more disciplined, people will notice without you saying a word. They'll feel the change in how you move, how you speak, how you carry yourself. And when they ask what happened to you, you won't need a long explanation. Your consistency will answer for you. So understand this clearly. Quiet growth is not invisible growth. It's protected growth. It's intentional growth. It's the kind of progress that lasts because it was built without noise, without pressure, and without permission. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you why silence protects your vision, because your vision is fragile before it becomes strong. When something is new, when it's just an idea, a dream, a calling, it don't need sunlight yet. It needs covering. It needs time. And silence is the shield that keeps your vision alive long enough to grow some roots. See, everybody ain't meant to see what you see. Everybody ain't built to understand what God showed you. The mistake a lot of people make is they start sharing the vision too early. They talk about it when it's still forming, when it's still shaky, when they themselves aren't fully confident yet. And the wrong comment at the wrong time can make you doubt something that was meant to change your life. Silence keeps your vision pure. It keeps other people's fears from mixing with your faith. Because understand this, when people respond to your dream, they respond from their own limitations. They measure your future using their past. They say things like, "That's risky. That's unrealistic. Nobody from where we're from does that. And if you're not careful, you'll start seeing your dream through their eyes instead of your own. When you stay quiet, you give yourself space to hear clearly. Not the noise, not the opinions, not the comparison. You hear your inner voice. You hear direction. You hear correction. Silence sharpens focus, talking scatters it. Every time you explain your vision, you adjust it to make other people comfortable. And before you know it, it don't even look like what you originally saw. Let me tell you something else. Silence builds confidence the right way. When nobody knows what you're working on, you can't rely on validation. You gotta rely on commitment. You wake up every day not because somebody's watching, but because you decided this matters. And that kind of confidence is unshakable because it wasn't built on compliments, it was built on consistency. Another reason silence protects your vision is because it keeps you from defending it. The moment you start defending your dream, you're already on the wrong side of it. Dreams don't need defending. They need developing. Every argument drains energy. Every explanation costs focus. And focus is the fuel your vision runs on. Silence also keeps you patient. When people know your plans, they keep asking for updates. Did it work yet? What happened? And those questions create pressure. Pressure makes you rush. Rushing makes you cut corners. And cutting corners leads to results you weren't aiming for in the first place. Silence lets you move at the pace growth requires. And here's the truth most people don't talk about. Some people secretly hope you fail because your success would force them to confront their own excuses. Silence keeps those people out of your head. It keeps their energy from touching your work. You don't owe everybody access to what you're building. When the vision is ready, it will speak for itself. When it's strong enough, it won't be affected by opinions. By then, you won't need protection because results are louder than words. But until that moment, silence is not hiding. Silence is preparation. Silence is strategy. Silence is wisdom. So if you're holding something special, something meaningful, something bigger than where you are right now, guard it. Keep it quiet. Work on it daily. Let it grow in private. Because a protected vision has a much better chance of becoming a powerful reality. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you about focus, because focus is the currency of success. Everything you want in life has a price, and that price is attention. Whatever you give your attention to, you are paying for with your time, your energy, and your potential. Most people are broke in life not because they lack talent, but because they keep spending their focus on the wrong things. See, focus is saying no. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less better. Every distraction you allow into your life is a withdrawal from your future. Social noise, other people's opinions, comparison, drama, and unnecessary conversations all chip away at your ability to concentrate on what actually moves you forward. And the scary part is distraction feels harmless, it feels small. But success doesn't collapse all at once. It leaks away slowly. When you truly focus on yourself, you stop chasing everything and start committing to something. You stop hopping from idea to idea looking for quick results. Focus demands patience. It demands repetition. It demands that you show up even when nothing exciting is happening. And that's where most people quit, because they confuse boredom with failure. Let me tell you something important. You cannot focus deeply while constantly explaining yourself. Every time you talk about what you're doing, your mind shifts from execution to performance. You start thinking about how it sounds instead of how it works. Silence protects your focus because it keeps your attention on the work, not the reaction. Focus also means understanding that you can't run in every race. Just because someone else is winning somewhere doesn't mean you're supposed to be there too. Comparison is one of the most expensive habits you can have. It steals focus without giving you anything in return. When you measure your life against someone else's path, you lose sight of your own. Another thing about focus is that it requires emotional discipline. You can't be everywhere mentally and still expect to win. You can't respond to every comment, every criticism, every distraction. Some battles are designed to pull you away from your purpose. Focus is knowing when to walk away so you can stay on track. And let me say this clearly, talent without focus is useless. You can be gifted, smart, creative, and capable, but if your attention is scattered, your results will be average. Focus is what turns potential into progress. It's what separates people who start from people who finish. When you lock in, something powerful happens. Time starts working for you instead of against you. Small efforts compound, daily discipline adds up, and one day people will call it luck, but you'll know it was focus. Quiet, consistent, disciplined focus. Most people want success, but they don't want the isolation that comes with focus. Because focus often looks lonely. It looks like missing out. It looks like doing the same thing every day while everybody else is distracted by noise. But that loneliness is temporary. The results last. If you want to win, you have to guard your attention like it's money. Spend it on growth. Spend it on learning. Spend it on improving yourself. Because once your focus is gone, no amount of talent can buy it back. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this truth: not everyone deserves access to your plans. Just because someone is close to you doesn't mean they're qualified to speak into your future. Some people only know the old version of you, and they'll try to keep you there. When you share your plans too early, you give people the power to influence what they don't understand. Silence keeps control in your hands. It allows you to move without permission, without explanation, and without resistance. Your plans need development, not discussion. Let people meet the results, not the blueprint. Ladies and gentlemen, discipline beats motivation every single time. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes depending on how you feel. Discipline shows up even when you're tired, bored, or discouraged. When you focus on yourself, you build routines that don't rely on excitement. Silence helps discipline grow because nobody's cheering you on, nobody's watching, and you still do the work. That's how real strength is built. When motivation disappears, discipline keeps you moving forward, step by step, day by day, until progress becomes inevitable. Ladies and gentlemen, God works best when you stay consistent and quiet. When you move in silence, you stop rushing the process and start trusting the timing. You're not trying to impress people. You're trying to become who you're meant to be. Consistency shows faith in action, not just words. Quiet effort creates room for growth, correction, and patience. When you keep showing up without announcing it, doors open naturally, blessings arrive without noise. And when it finally happens, you'll know it wasn't luck, it was alignment.